Chinese sales managers train their team on how to answer questions. Nobody trains them on how to ask the right ones. And that gap is worth more lost revenue than any product deficit knowledge ever could be. There's a specific moment in most Chinese sales programs that reveals everything about why they are not working. It's the moment when someone asks, what does a Western buyer actually care about when they are evaluating a new Chinese supplier for the first time? In most sessions that I've attended or reviewed, nobody has a good answer to that question. And that's because nobody has seriously asked it before. The training is built around what the factory makes and the product. Here is what Western buyers are actually doing when they first engage with a Chinese supplier. And this is not theory, this is what I've heard from buyers directly after spending over 10 years sitting on both sides of this conversation. They are running a risk assessment, not consciously, but every piece of information they request, every hesitation that they hear from the salesperson is being fed into this subconscious calculation. Is this supplier safe to bring into my supply chain? Not, is this product the lowest price? Is the product the best price? Is this supplier safe to bring into my operations? Because Western buyers in almost every B2B category have a mental folder of horror stories. Suppliers who disappeared after the first order, product quality that did not match the sample, communication that breaks down whenever anything goes wrong. For the most part, they're not evaluating your product only. They're evaluating whether you will become another horror story. Now here is what most Chinese sales training does with that information. Nothing. Instead, they are trained on presenting specifications confidently, handling pricing questions, handling requests for certifications. So here's where I think Chinese sales training can improve. You start with a buyer psychology session, not a product training session. A session specifically about what a Western buyer in your category fears. Have they been burnt before? What would make them feel confident enough about taking on a new supplier? You build that into a set of questions that your team asks before they present anything. Questions that draw out your buyer's real concerns before your salespeople have even said a word about your product. Something like, can I ask what your experience has been sourcing from Chinese manufacturers in the past? That question opens everything. The buyer either tells you about a positive experience, which means that they're open, or they tell you about negative experience, which means you know exactly what to address in order to secure this client. You cannot address a fear you do not know exists. And most Chinese sales teams are presenting solutions to problems the buyers never told them about, while the real barriers to the deal sit unaddressed and unspoken.